Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 40th chapter. And it came to pass after these things, that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. Now the butler was, it says butler here, it's referring to like a cupbearer, and the baker is a baker. So they must have done something wrong, something to anger the Pharaoh, whatnot. Verse 2, and Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. So now it was like a political prison, or a prison for well, it says the king's prisoners, so political prisoners, you could say. Verse 4, and the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, so he basically put Joseph in charge of them, and he served them, and they continued a season in the ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night. So they both dreamed that same night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. So they both each had a dream. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? So when he looked upon him, he's like, yo, what's up? What's going on? Why you look so messed up today? And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. So maybe they even spoke it to themselves, like, yo, I had a dream. Oh shit, I had a dream too. But they didn't understand it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said unto him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. So he sees this vine with 3 branches, and then it grows and grows and grows, and it bears fruit, and there's the grapes on them. And Pharaoh's cup was in mine hand, because remember, he was Pharaoh's cupbearer. It just uses the term butler, but that's what it means. And I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and gave the cup onto Pharaoh's hand. And it's where you basically get like wine, right? The wine press, you get it from grapes. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou wast his butler. So in 3 days, Pharaoh is going to get you out of prison. He's going to forgive you, and you're going to go back to being his cupbearer. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. So when you get released, remember me and basically say my case before Pharaoh, so I can be released from here. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. So basically saying that he was like kidnapped out of the land of the Hebrews. He's not even native here. He doesn't belong here. And here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So he was falsely incriminated. Then the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, and he said unto Joseph, I also. So when the baker heard it, he was like, yo, that makes sense. So he also said, all right, let me tell him my dream. I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uppermost basket, so there were like 3 baskets stacked on top of each other, and the one at the very top, there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler onto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. So Joseph interprets the dreams for them. It comes to pass within 3 days. But the chief butler, I guess out of excitement and relief of being brought back to his station, forgot about Joseph and didn't, mention him to Pharaoh. And so Joseph remained in the prison, in the ward. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 40th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.